It's hard to believe that it's been a year since COVID-19 literally transformed the world. And our first guest is known as Patient Zero, the first known person to be admitted with coronavirus here in Los Angeles. Take a look.
On March 5th, I was patient zero. I was the very first COVID patient. During my time in the hospital, my fingers died, a couple of my toes died. This isn't like the flu.
Gregg and I were both very active people.
I ski 70 to 100 days a year. I mountain bike, I hike, I golf. Come February 2020, it took a different turn.
Gregg had a trip with a bunch of his guy friends to northern Italy.
Shortly after I got there, I got a call from AJ, my girlfriend.
I called him and I was like, hey, have you heard of this virus? Have you heard of move to where you guys are? And he's like, yeah, you know, we've heard of it, but we're in open air and we're outside. We haven't really heard of any cases near us. And I just said, listen, do your best to pay attention to it. If you start feeling symptoms or something, it could be that.
3 days into the trip, started feeling flu-like symptoms. And I just laid up in my room for a couple of days. And towards the end of the trip, we found that our friend tested positive for coronavirus.
So 9 days in, Gregg was headed home with the rest of his crew.
Getting back to LA, it started to get progressively worse. I went immediately home, quarantined myself. I tested positive 24 hours later.
I was pretty freaked out. I didn't know what this was.
I checked into the hospital on March 5th.
Right after Gregg was admitted to the hospital, it got real and things happened very quickly.
On March 7th, the doctor came in and said that they had to intubate me on a ventilator. And I turned to one of the nurses and I literally said to her, I'm really afraid I don't want to die. And she looked at me and said, I promise you, I won't let you die. And I was asleep for 31 days.
It was really scary because he was hooked up to so many tubes, IVs, and he was packed in ice because he had a fever that they were trying to lower.
I had collapsed lungs. My blood pressure would crash 4 different times.
His kidneys completely failed.
I was maxed out on the ventilator. I had MRSA. I had sepsis. After those 31 days, that's when I started coming out of sedation.
Once he was in the recovery unit,
there were quite a few setbacks. I burst my 4th lung when I was coughing so profusely, and that was the most painful thing I've ever experienced in my life.
He was doing the simplest of things, learning how to swallow, learning how to walk again, brush his hair, go to the bathroom.
Once that took place, I got invited up into the rehab center. It was an intense rehabilitation.
After 31 days of being on the ventilator and 64 days in the hospital, Gregg pushed so hard in rehab, and when we finally got a day, May 8th, 2020, that guy was getting out of the hospital.
My determination was to walk out of that hospital. There were hundreds inside the hospital, 200 people in the atrium. I was supposed to go out with a walker, and the adrenaline was pumping so hard that I looked at AJ and just said, grab an arm. I stood up, and I walked out. It was the most unbelievable experience of my life.